Hey, what's up, Mr. Sutta here. Today we're going to be talking about our atomic rules. We're going to be trying to figure out the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons for an element, given some information about them listed on the periodic table. Right, so I have this element here, titanium. I have my symbol in the middle. I have some numbers on the top. I have some numbers on the bottom. We're going to be talking about what those numbers mean and how we can find our protons, neutrons, and electrons from this data which is on the table. Right? There are three major rules that we're going to be looking at that are going to help us out. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so rule number one, the atomic number of an atom is always equal to the number of protons in an atom. So this number that's on the top above our elemental symbol, that's going to be our atomic number. It'll usually be the smaller number of the number on the top and the number on the bottom. So my number on the top is my atomic number. My atomic number is 19, so I know I have to have 19 protons. All right, so that's our first rule. The atomic number is equal to our number of protons. Second rule here. In a neutral atom, the number of protons is equal to the number of electrons. So I looked at it before. My atomic number was 19, so I know I have 19 protons. And because my element is neutral, my number of protons have to equal my number of electrons. So if I have 19 protons, I also have to have 19 electrons for potassium here. Right? So that's rule number two. In a neutral atom, the number of protons is equal to the number of electrons. Right? Our third rule. And our last rule, our mass number is equal to the number of protons plus the number of neutrons, right? So this one's a little bit trickier. So first we have to find the mass number. So if we look on the bottom, we have this number down here. This is our mass number. So our mass number, you can see has like an extra decimal point here, 39.098. Now I'm not going to go into too much detail about why we have a decimal point here. We'll save that for later on in the year, but just know that for this extra decimal point here, if it's closer to 0, you're going to round down, and if it's closer to the next number up, you're going to round to the nearest whole number. So for this one, 39.098, we're going to round down to 39, right? So my mass number is 39, my number of protons is 19, so 39 equals 19 plus my number of neutrons. 19 minus 9 is 0, so I get left with my number of neutrons on this side. 39 minus 19 is equal to 20, so my number of neutrons is equal to 20. Right? That's rule number 3. Our mass number is equal to our number of protons plus our number of neutrons. Right? Let's put it all together now. Right? So I have all this missing information here, and I have my element as we would see it on the periodic table. We're going to try to figure out all these boxes. We're going to try to fill them in: the name of the element, the symbol, the number, the atomic number, the mass number, the number of protons, electrons, and neutrons, and all of that information is contained right in here. Right? You can fill out each of these if you know your atomic rules. Right? So let's start off easy. We can do our name of the element. So we look on the top. This element's name is fluorine. Right? It's pretty easy. Our elemental symbol, that's the big symbol in the middle. It's an F. Right? Our atomic number is the smaller number on the top. That's a 9. Right? My mass number, that's the number on the bottom. It's 18.998. Remember, round to the nearest whole number, so we're going to round that to 19. Now, here we go, going for our atomic rules that are going to help us out here. Our number of protons. If we look back at our first rule again, the atomic number of an atom is equal to our number of protons in an atom. Right? So if we go back here, our atomic number was 9, so our number of protons also has to be 9. Right? Next one here, our number of electrons. Let's go back to our second rule. In a neutral atom, our number of protons is equal to our number of electrons. Right? Our number of protons is equal to our number of electrons. So let's go back to the example. Right? So we had 9 protons, so we need to have 9 electrons. If you remember back to when we did protons, neutrons, and electrons, or subatomic particles, protons have a positive charge. You can remember P, protons positive. So our protons have a positive charge, our electrons have a negative charge. So in a neutral atom, our positive charges have to balance out with our negative charges. So overall, this atom does not have any charge because its positive charges, 9 protons, balance out with its negative charges, the 9 electrons. right? We just have one more piece of information to fill in now, our number of neutrons. So we can go back to our rule number 3 to help us out. Rule number 3 says our mass number is equal to our number of protons plus our number of neutrons. So go back to my example, right? So let's work with our formula here. So our mass number was 19. So our mass number is equal to our number of protons, which was 9. So 19 plus 9, or 9 plus our number of neutrons is equal to 19, our mass number. And that's our number of neutrons. I'm going to put an N for neutrons. I'm going to call that N, right? So I have to get our number of neutrons by itself. So I'm going to subtract 9 from each side. All right, 19 minus 9 is 10. 9 minus 9 cancels out. So my number of neutrons is 10. I have 10 neutrons. Right, I can fill in that information. And that's all there is to it. So we're going to have some examples for homework. And there's really not a whole lot more to it. It's looking at your element box here, and you're trying to figure out from here using your rules. Rule number 1, the number of protons is equal to our atomic number. Our rule 2 here, our neutral atom is equal to the protons. A neutral atom, our number of protons is equal to our number of electrons. And our rule 3 here, our mass number equals our protons plus our number of neutrons. All right, so thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.